Atmos Energy.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Stars will be out tonight in New York City for the 2026 WNBA Draft, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Top overall pick belongs to Dallas. No real consensus, number one, but there are, of course, a handful of collegiate stars expected to have a major impact at the next level. One in particular could do that for several teams, including Dallas, according to ESPN WNBA analyst Monica McNutt.
When you look at what Dallas has done with free agency and so far in terms of retooling their roster, they kind of have enough bigs put in place. They re-signed Arike Ogunbowale. They have Paige Beckers. Both of those young women are ball-dominant sort of guards. So it makes sense that you find a shooter, and that would mean AZ Fudd is probably going to be the first number one pick.
The NBA announced the 36 officials who will work the play-in tournament and first round of the playoffs. Among them, Natalie Sago. She is the third woman in league history selected for postseason work. The reeling Astros on a 7-game slide placed shortstop Jeremy Pena and starting pitcher Tatsuya Imai on the injured list. Two-time Stanley Cup champion Rangers goalie Jonathan Quick announcing he's retiring after almost 20 NHL seasons.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Tuesday, I'll tell you just how many NBA teams are really title contenders. Here's a hint. It's not as many as you think. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Jordan Kitchen.
Short, 20-footer, head of the cane, good!
I like that one. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Football Tigers had a scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. The baseball Tigers got swept. The Pelican season came to an end. We're talking about all of it. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, we have a lot to get to. Jake Madison will be here next hour. David Dellecci at the top of hour number 3. I'll get to LSU baseball, but because Saturday was an interesting day in Tiger Stadium because for the first time so far in spring, Lane Kiffin gave us the opportunity to watch the entire practice. So we got to go into Tiger Stadium for about 2.5 hours and watch the Tigers practice. And about 2 hours of the work was a scrimmage whereby LSU had 19 offensive possessions. 1 versus 1s, 2s versus 2s, 3s versus 3s. The first team had 9 possessions. Second team had 7 possessions. Third team had 3 possessions. So I'm going to take my time here and go through offense, defense, special teams, some takeaways. What I would like to impress upon you before I go any further is this team is 9 practices into the first spring with a new staff, new head coach, new system, new philosophy, new terminology, and roughly 60 new players. They're not even in full pads. They're helmet, shoulder pads, and shorts. This was not even a full tackle scrimmage. It was thud, what you'd call it, not tackle to the ground. So all of the stuff that we talk about here, I beg you to take with a grain of salt. It's really just a jumping off point, a marker to say at this point, boom, this is where they are right now. And I'm really glad we had this opportunity to go watch the team. Last week, when Lane Kiffin met with reporters on Tuesday, he said that if they were to play a game right now, this would be a defensive football team. And the way he kind of said it was, if last Saturday's scrimmage was any indication. Well, based on the 2 hours of scrimmage that we got to see Saturday, this is a defensive football team, y'all. Now, there's some caveats, right? You don't even have your starting quarterback participating. That's one giant one. You have all of the new on offense. New head coach, new offensive coordinator, new system, new terminology, new players, all the new. And defensively, you have so much retention. Blake Baker's back. His whole staff, save Kyle Williams, is back. You have returning players at every level of your defense and some really talented newcomers. And generally speaking, the defense tends to be ahead of the offense anyway because the defense can read, react, fly around, just be a little more, let athleticism and instinct take over, whereas the offense has to execute the play. There's timing with quarterbacks and receivers. There's continuity with the offensive line, all that sort of stuff. A lot of that's already in place for the defense. So what's clear is the offense has a ways to go. I mentioned there were 19 possessions. In those 19 possessions, there were 5 interceptions, a lost fumble, a missed field goal. Now, there were 6 touchdowns in the 19 possessions, and you may go, that's pretty good. 3 of the touchdowns were the third team. Emil Picarella led the third team offense, and they scored on all 3 possessions when it was 3s on 3s, which tells you the depth is probably with the offense when you get to the 3s. The problem is your first team in the 9 possessions, the 9 offensive possessions, by the way, they started at various spots on the field. Sometimes they started at the 25, sometimes they started at midfield, sometimes they started literally at their own 2-yard line. Incidentally, the 1 touchdown the first team scored was the drive when they started at the 2-yard line. There was a 3-yard rush and then a 95-yard catch and run by Winnie Watkins for a touchdown. More on that in just a quick second. So here was the result of the possessions from the ones. They didn't punt, so they went for it on 4th down whenever they got to a 4th down. So it was downs, interception, downs, interception, interception, touchdown, downs. The 2s, downs, interception, missed field goal, interception, touchdown, fumble, touchdown. And then the 3s, as I mentioned, scored on all 3 possessions. If I have one big, gigantic, overarching takeaway from this scrimmage, it's you better hope that you hit on Sam Leavitt and that he's back and ready to go. And I don't mean that to be completely dismissive of Landon Clark and Husan Longstreet, but neither one of those guys right now looks like a guy ready to go run this offense and lead you to the heights many people have the expectation of this team. It's not to say they can't ever get there, not to say they can't get there this year. It's just to say you went and spent a bunch of money on Sam Leavitt because he was the number 1 quarterback in the portal. Landon Clark threw 2 horrific interceptions where he absolute same play, seam route, sailed it horribly and threw it right into the waiting arms of the safeties. One was to Marcus Cooley, one was Ty Benefield. 2 of the interceptions that Husan Longstreet threw were both to Aiden Anding with the 2s. And in both plays, Aiden Anding made spectacular plays. One was a 50-50 ball near the pylon. Aiden Anding wrestled it away. The other was a play actually where Aiden Anding got hurt out in the right flat. I also think that it's pretty clear, and I don't think you needed to go watch a scrimmage to know this. Like, you just look at any of Lane Kiffin's offenses. We actually talked about this last week. The quarterbacks are going to run a lot in this offense, and maybe the biggest advantage you have with both Longstreet and Landon Clark is that both are really athletic and pretty talented runners also. There were quarterback draws. There were read options that we saw. And there were times where, in the face of pressure, they scrambled, moved the pocket. That's something that we saw Trinidad Chambliss do a lot a year ago at Ole Miss, and that's going to be a part of this offense. As I've mentioned, every year, so Lane Kiffin was at Ole Miss for 6 seasons. All 6 seasons he was there, his quarterback had over 100 rushing attempts on the season. All 6. And in most of the years, I think all but 2, in 4 of the 6 years, the quarterback was the second leading rusher. So we know Leavitt has that type of athleticism, and we'll see it when he's healthy and out there. But both Landon Clark and Husan Longstreet both relied a lot on their feet. Small sample again, but I think right now anyway, it's pretty clear that your 2 biggest threats offensively are Trey'Dez Green and Winnie Watkins, and for 2 very different reasons. One is that, well, Trey'Dez Green is 6'7", 250 pounds, and a gigantic mismatch against anyone he faces. And they move him all over the formation. We saw him play the X receiver spot. We saw him attached as a tight end. We saw him in the slot. He was lined up as an H-back. There was one play where we saw 3 tight ends, where Trey'Dez lined up as the X, Malachi Thomas was a 3-point stance attached tight end, and Zach Grace from Oregon was lined up as the H-back. So they moved 14 all over the formation. And he is going to be a massive target. The other, as I mentioned, was Winnie Watkins, and this really makes a lot of sense because of his familiarity with this offense, with Lane Kiffin's offense, the terminology, the timing, all of it. I mentioned he scored on the 95-yard catch and run. There was a play where it was a 3rd and short where they just ran a simple out route to Watkins, timing route, boom, on the sideline, catch, first down. I wouldn't be surprised at all, and based on, again, a small sample size, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Winnie Watkins caught 50 balls this coming season. I just think there's just a very clear degree of comfort and knowledge and understanding of this system, which gives him a gigantic advantage over everybody else in that room. I told you that I wanted to see the offensive line and early returns, but not great. Jordan Seaton was flagged twice for holding. There were 3 false start penalties, 2 on the same drive, actually in consecutive plays. And they did allow an awful lot of pressure. Again, I think you have 5 trying to learn to play as 1, and you have a really good, aggressive defensive front that was creating a lot of that pressure. And there were some times when LSU struggled to run in short yardage situations as well. There was a sequence where LSU gained 8 yards on a first down play on a pitch and catch to Dylan Jones. So it was 2nd and 2. They ran it. He gained a yard. So it was 3rd and 1. Ran it. It was a TFL by Deshaun Spears. Felt very familiar to what we saw a year ago. So a really rough day for the LSU offense against that defense, and a long way to go. The silver lining, of course, is the defense looks outstanding. I want to break, come back, and I'll pick up with that. I'll tell you what I saw specifically from the defense. I do have some special teams notes and some overall notes and takeaways that I want to get to as well. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Hey, Tiger baseball returns to the box this weekend, and our friends over at Marler Beverage have teamed up with us to put together a prize pack. We'll be giving away 1 prize pack every day this week here on AFR. All you have to do is use our show text line, 225-499-1045. Again, that's our new text line for the radio station, 225-499-1045, 499-1045. Text the words drink easy. One word, text drink easy to 499-1045. Text drink easy to 499-1045 and you're entered to win. It's a case of Bud Light. It's a Bud Light LSU baseball jersey, national championship koozies. We'll throw some 104.5 ESPN swag in there as well. Again, we're going to announce the winner at the top of hour number 3, and we're going to do this every day this week here on AFR. So got 5 prize packs, a chance to win. Just text drink easy to 225-499-1045 for your chance to win. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Okay, quick break. Come back. I'll talk about my defensive takeaways from the scrimmage. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR,
Man, I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery, especially this time of year because, my goodness, the weather is beautiful. We're actually going to get a little bit of a warm-up this week. We're going to push close to 90 degrees. Y'all, I know it's spring. Summer's here. It is time to start getting your lawn and garden ready if you haven't already. We talk about all the flowers and the plants and the trees and the shrubs and all the beautiful things to add that pop of color to your outdoor area, your flower beds, your patio pots, everything. But remember, if you have those unwanted pests as well, Clegg's can help get rid of them. Having trouble with weeds in your lawn, they can get rid of those weeds in your lawn. If you have mosquitoes, they got the Aeon mosquito barrier. Maybe you have ant hills or anything else like that you need to get rid of, those unwanted pests, wasp spray. They got all of it at Clegg's Nursery. So get on by any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them that Matt sent you in when you go see our friends today at Clegg's Nursery.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. We are going through the LSU scrimmage from this past weekend. By the way, one other interesting note, I'm very glad to hear this, but they advised us that Lane Kiffin is opening practice for the rest of spring to the media. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then the quote-unquote spring game, that final day. Full access. So that's a surprise. It's certainly a change. A couple of weeks ago when we were there at the media availability, Lane opened his availability by saying I want to help you guys do your job, so let us know if there's something that you want. Since some places don't want full access. I'm like, I cannot imagine anybody who wouldn't want the option to go watch the full practice. Obviously, it helps us do our job much better. It's time commitment, but I mean that's why we get paid to do our jobs. So tomorrow, so Tuesday, Thursday of this week, and then Saturday in Tiger Stadium, we'll be there for the full practice, and we'll have practice reports at LouisianaSports.net. I'll have them on Locked on LSU, and of course here on AFR and across 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. And so we open talking about the offense, and we use some defensive takeaways. So obviously, it was a great day for the defense. They came away with 5 interceptions. Tamarcus Cooley, Ty Benefield each had a pick. Aiden Anding had 2 interceptions. And it was PJ Woodland, was the third. And it was the first play. It was the first play of the series where they kind of went on an out route, and Woodland jumped a route and was a really, really great defensive play. So the 5 interceptions and the fumble recovery had 6 takeaways. The fumble recovery was Landon Clark was at quarterback, and they were running he was scrambling to his left. A back was going with him, and so late he tried to option pitch as the defender was coming to him, and they fumbled the pitch, and it was recovered by Jace Thomas. That was with the 2s. So, and by the way, it is worth noting also that both Clark and Longstreet took reps with the 1s and the 2s. So Landon Clark had 5 series with the 1s. Husan Longstreet had 4 series with the 1s. So they both had opportunities to run with the 1s and the 2s. There were 2 long touchdowns in the game. There was a 95-yarder to Winnie Watkins, and then a 74-yarder to Malachi Thomas. The Winnie Watkins touchdown was with the 1s. The Malachi Thomas touchdown was with the 2s, and it was identical plays in consecutive possessions. The offense was starting from their own 2. When the 1s scored their touchdown, they had a 3-yard run, and then the pass over the middle about 20 yards downfield to Watkins, and then it was a foot race that he beat everybody and scored on a 95-yarder. Here's the caveat. That was later in the scrimmage, and they had replaced Cooley and Benefield with Fahim Delane and Jace Thomas. And so the reception, Fahim Delane came underneath Watkins. Watkins made the reception, and then Jace Thomas missed a tackle. And so then it was a foot race with Winnie Watkins and Deshaun Spears, and Watkins basically beat him to the end zone. So the 1 touchdown that the first offense scored against first defense victimized the 2 backup safeties that were running with the 1s at that point. The 74-yarder to Malachi Thomas was an identical play. It was against the 2s, same thing. I mean, seam route, safety came underneath, there wasn't help back, and it was a foot race to the end zone. I mean, almost identical plays in consecutive possessions. I do want to highlight Aiden Anding, who had a couple of interceptions, both of Husan Longstreet. He was injured on his second interception. Anding was lined up at left cornerback. They were in a little bit of a zone formation, and he sort of just baited Longstreet into the throw. And he just waited, and when the ball was released, he just sort of Superman just leapt into the throwing lane and came up with the interception. He was not contacted, but he came up limp and had to be carried off the field. He was on the training table for a long time. They fitted him for a boot and crutches. So hopefully it's just maybe a little ankle sprain and nothing serious. We'll see if we can get an update on him. But Aiden Anding running with the 2s certainly was one of the standouts of the day. Ross, Uman Mielen, Daughtery all had sacks in the game as well. The Daughtery sack was on the first possession of the scrimmage, and Landon Clark was in at quarterback, and he was flush to his right, and Daughtery was staying home at his linebacker position, and once he saw Clark flushed, he just, at a 45-degree angle, straight line, boom, to his left, the right side of the offensive formation, and sacked Landon Clark. That's one of the plays where Clark's got to get rid of the football, but Daughtery showed off incredible instinct, speed, agility, all that to get to the spot at that moment. It was a really impressive play by Daughtery on that sack. I shared a little bit of this earlier, but this sequence, I think, was a microcosm of the day for both the offense and the defense. So on the second possession the first team had, on first down, they run a toss sweep and lose a yard. Struggle to run. On second down, they throw it to Trey'Dez Green for 25 yards. Okay, boom. You're past midfield now. I think they've got out to about the 47-yard line. First down, they throw it to Dylan Jones, the Wisconsin transfer running back. We've talked a lot about him. He's been really impressive up to this point. I would say Dylan Jones and probably Malik Elzy maybe are the biggest risers offensively so far through spring early on. So it's an 8-yard reception, so it's 2nd and 2, and they run it with Dylan Jones on 2nd and 2. He gains a yard. So now it's 3rd and 1. They're going to run it with Dylan Jones again, and Deshaun Spears crashes in and gets a TFL for a loss of a yard. So now it's 4th and 3. He lost 2, so it's 4th and 3. And remember, I told you there's no punts, so they're going for it. And on 4th and 3, Jordan Seaton gets flagged for a hold. That was sort of a microcosm of the day. Trey'Dez had a really nice reception, inability to run the football. Your offensive line gets flagged for a hold on a 4th and 3. It was just on a 3rd and 1, the defense came up with the big play. That was kind of a microcosm of how the whole day went. And it was if you take away a positive, a real positive, it's, man, your defense looks poised to build on what was a top 30 defense nationally a year ago. You've added some really talented transfer players. You've got a lot of continuity. And by the way, Whit Weeks isn't even participating right now. And you're going to have him ready to roll obviously by the opener. So a lot of good defensively, a lot of room to grow for the offense. Special teams, we got to see all 3 kickers in a special teams period. Scott Starzik missed from 37, and during the scrimmage, he had the miss from 56. Got a huge leg, but he missed. The other 2 kickers made each of their kicks during the special teams period. Silas Hall was snapping during field goals. Hayden Craig was the holder. And then for punts, it was Mulhern, the Florida transfer, who was the snapper. And Craig was the first punter, and Chadwick was the second. Interestingly, Craig is left-footed, Chadwick is right-footed, so you have a little bit of a contrast there depending on which way they go. They both, I thought, acquitted themselves very nicely. Your punt returners were Trey Wilson, in this order: Trey Wilson, Winnie Watkins, Jace Brown, Jabari Mack, and Najur Granger. Those were the 5, and Granger muffed one, and there was no rush. It was a period where they were snapping, punting, and then you had your punt returners deep, and Granger muffed one, so that was certainly disappointing. But those were the returners as well. A few other notes, maybe should have led with this. Sam Levitt was out there, interestingly enough. So Levitt last week posted on social that he had the pins removed from his foot from the original Liz Frank injury. And when Lane Kiffin met with reporters on Tuesday, he was asked point blank if Levitt would be out there, and he said doesn't think so, that he thought he missed the rest of spring. Well, Saturday, Sam Levitt was out there. Now he was in helmet, shoulder pads, and sneakers, so all the other quarterbacks were in cleats. Levitt did not do any of the team drills, but he was during the individual period out there throwing with the receivers and working on handoffs, so that was good to see. And we did see him jog a little bit as well. Not like for cardio, just jogging station to station. So, I mean, less than a week removed from having, 5 days removed from having pins removed from your foot. The fact that he was out there and actually moving around, I thought was a pretty good sign. Great to see Whit Weeks out there, even when the 3s were out there. I mean, he was on the defensive sideline, so the offense was on the west sideline, the defense was on the east sideline. Whit was at the line of scrimmage, wherever the ball was placed, like on every snap, shouting out encouragement. It didn't matter if it was 1s, 2s, or 3s. So, I mean, this is clearly his team, his defense, and he's out there engaged, even if he's not participating. Solomon Thomas was out there. A lot of people have asked. He had a boot on his foot in a scooter. He had one of his knee scooters, so continues to not participate, but we did see him out there in a boot. Deuce Geralds, who missed a practice last week during the media avail, was not participating in the individual part before the scrimmage, but did participate in the scrimmage. Richard Anderson was the opposite. Richard Anderson participated in the individual work, but we did not see him participate in the scrimmage portion. And then maybe one other change on the offensive line where we had seen Bryson Martinez running with the twos at left tackle. That now is Sean Tompkins, the transfer from Baylor. So that's the only real notable change. Satterwhite, the Tennessee transfer, has been running with the second team at center. And Darren Stray has been running it with the second team at right tackle. And your guards remained unchanged. It was Sprinkle at right guard and Devin Harper at left guard, with Bo Bordelon running at left guard with the one. So just a few notes as LSU went through a 2+ hour scrimmage in Tiger Stadium Saturday that the media got to watch the entirety of. And I will also relate that they asked us when they let us in. There was no photo or video, but they also asked us not to write down or disclose like a play-by-play and formations and all that stuff. We do takeaways. And I mean, if you followed any of the content, the post-game stuff we've done over the years, I mean, I chart every play of games, just my shorthand and my process. So I did that for this as well, but not with the intent of going and revealing play-by-play, because they asked us specifically not to do that. I don't want to do something that would get us, get our access revoked. But hopefully these notes are helpful. If there's anything that you'd like us to see as we go out to practice Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and for the remainder of spring, we'll certainly keep an eye on it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Matter of fact, got to see E.J. Kuiper, the president and CEO of FMOL. He was out there Saturday watching the Tigers scrimmage. Always great to see our friends from the lake. And, of course, whenever the Tigers are injured during the course of scrimmage or game action or practices, they trust the lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. They get the Tigers healthy and ready to roll throughout all of their seasons across every single sport, and not just the champions on the field. Of course, they have the contract with the LSU Student Health Center and everyday champions like you and me for our everyday health concerns and specialty care like heart care, stroke, cancer, pediatrics. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. They bring world-class care right here home to Baton Rouge. It's Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this busy Monday. A lot to get to. In 30 minutes, I'll give you my takeaways from LSU's weekend sweep at the hands of the Ole Miss Rebels. Not a whole lot to say about the weekend that was. I mean, it's what it was. We watched it. But what does it mean moving forward for the remainder of the season? We'll dive into some of that here in about half an hour. David Dellecci in hour number 3. Jake Madison, 1 hour from right now. Pelican season came to an end yesterday. So we'll put a button on the season and maybe look ahead to what should be a pretty pivotal offseason as Pels are going to hire a new head coach. So we'll get to all that with Jake Madison 1 hour from right now. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you've heard me talk about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, and you kind of been on the fence if it's time to call or book an appointment, let this be the push. Man, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's more about how you feel. And you might say, Matt, I don't have ED. Great. I'm pumped for you. That's fine. Because Goodwood does ED treatments, not just the pills. They have a lot of different things. So if you do have ED, they can help. But it's so much more than that. Hormone replacement therapy. They have dozens of different peptide therapies as well that you've heard me talk about, the success that I've had with a lot of different peptides, from BPC 157 for muscle and tissue repair. It's been great for my back. NAD+, which is cellular optimization, incredible for energy levels. So many things like Sermorelin, which is a growth hormone peptide, which stimulates your body's natural growth hormone. This isn't like HGH from the 90s that made dudes' heads swell. If you want to live your fullest life, they can help. Visit them online at yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues, like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Failure happens to us all.
I will go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. The LSU men's basketball team made it official. They have added Damon Stoudemire to the coaching staff. So Will Wade now with 3 official hires. It got started with Rick Stansberry, and then they, of course, added Johnny Jones officially on Friday. We reported over at LouisianaSports.net on Friday that Stoudemire was on LSU's campus Friday, and that a deal was expected to get done. It did. They officially announced it here today. So that's 3 former head coaches that are now on Will Wade's staff with Stansberry, Jones, and Damon Stoudemire. So an all-star staff that they're building. Now he's got to build a roster. Robert Williams III also entered the portal. So Jalen Reese is the only member of Matt McMahon's final team that's still on the roster as of now. And Will Wade, while they've targeted, PJ Haggerty was the guy we talked about last week in Kansas State, who they targeted. He ended up signing with Texas A&M. So the Tigers are still looking here to build a roster, and I kind of get the sense that this feels a lot like what it did with football, where Lane Kiffin got the job on that Sunday. He was introduced on, it was like December the 1st. It was introduced that Monday, and then it was the whole month was like building the staff and leading up to the portal, right? Even in his introductory press conference where he was like, we're going to do great recruiting in high school, but man, with that logo and this brand and what we did at the former place, that he knew they were going to go ham in the portal. So the portal opened on January 2nd, and we were all expecting this just windfall of commits to happen immediately, and it just didn't happen. They had a lot of visits, but it was slow to get the commits. But once they started rolling, it was Katie bar the door, and we know what happened after that. Feels very similar right now for Will Wade, as it's about visits and targets and identifying prospects and filling out the coaching staff. But, look, they got to rebuild the roster, and they're going to rebuild this roster here clearly through the transfer portal, as you have 1 scholarship player remaining from a year ago, 1 player remaining from the roster of this past season. So I don't know, man. You could look at it and say, similar to football, would you want some of the guys to have stayed to maintain continuity, or on a team that was 3-15 in the conference, are you better off going to get new players who might be better players, who might better fit what this coaching staff wants to do? So we'll be patient. We'll give them time to work it out and see how they build the roster. But it's official. Damon Stoudemire has been introduced now as the third member of Will Wade's staff. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in a sec. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. You can always download the Rouse's app as well. And the reason be beneficial to download the app. Remember, if you go to the Rouse's app, you're doing your shopping. Download the Rouse's app, pick out your items. If it's more than $30 that you're spending, it's a free service to have your personal shopper go pick out your items. Then you pull up into one of the designated spaces and they bring it out to you. Saves you time, way more efficient. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. 76 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach. They always got the hot bar and seafood bar menu as well. If you want to go pick up dinner, lunch any day of the week, dinner for the whole family, it's at Rouse's. Any of the Rouse's locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Junior wide receiver Jaylen Brown. Remember him? Former LSU wide receiver Jaylen Brown. He's no longer a member of the Razorbacks program. He was arrested Friday for allegedly hindering apprehension or prosecution. Apparently, he lied to police about an incident that occurred at his home involving 3 females. Anyway, Brown, who started his career at LSU, was booted from Florida State's team last spring after he was arrested for possession of a controlled substance. Now, the former top 100 overall prospect, booted from Arkansas as well. So wherever he goes, he'll be on his 4th team.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
4-star quarterback Jake Norott has committed to Kentucky, the number 2 quarterback in the Rivals 300. Kentucky beat out Iowa, where he's a legacy, and Oregon. Kansas State was one of the finalists as well. Joe Sloan played a pretty big role here in the quarterback choosing the Wildcats. He'll also be in LA this summer for the Elite 11 finals.
The Florida Gators.
Defensive back Amari Fountain has flipped from South Carolina to Florida. 6'3", 182. Had been committed to the Gamecocks, but all throughout the spring, he'd been visiting John Sumrall's squad down there in Gainesville. 4-star. He's the 6th commit for the Gators. He's the number 135 prospect in the country, the 17th best cornerback.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou's first game at Kansas since 2005 will come a day earlier. The 2 programs have announced that game will be moved from Saturday, September the 12th to the night of Friday, September the 11th. Of course, Missouri and Kansas revived their rivalry in 2025 after they hadn't played in 14 years since Missouri came into the SEC. They've got 2 more games scheduled after this year, at Missouri in 2031 and then at Kansas in 2032.
The Texas Longhorns.
On the hardwood, TCU forward David Punch has committed to Sean Miller and the Longhorns. 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. He's the 7th best player in the portal, the number 1 power forward. 6'7", 246. He joins Colorado guard Isaiah Johnson in committing to the Longhorns. Punch started 27 games for the Horned Frogs as a freshman.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
And Georgia forward Kareem Stagg was arrested for speeding and driving without a valid license. No, this is not a football-only issue, apparently, there in Athens. He was driving his 2023 Tesla 22 miles an hour over the speed limit. He just announced that he's returning to Georgia for next basketball season. 6'8", 230-pound forward, appeared in 33 games with 9 starts. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Monday shows are presented by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Had a great chance to hang out with Brandon and Adrian Holly on Saturday. As a matter of fact, we were over at L'Auberge for the Titan Combat Championship, of which Gordon and Relief Windows were the title sponsors. So great opportunity to hang out with my good friends and spend some time this past Saturday. And you're reminded every time you talk to them why they are all about experience, quality, and service. Yes, they sell windows and doors and siding and shutters and shades, but what Brandon always says is their number 1 product is customer service. And you get it every time you talk to Brandon. It's something he impresses upon everybody within their organization. you will always have an incredible customer service experience, and they never take $1 until they're done and you're thrilled. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Congrats to Rory McIlroy, who won the Masters. Little bit of a bummer for Sam Burns, who went into the final day, part of the second-to-last pairing, he and Shane Lowry. And Burns, who had a really nice Masters tournament, but just carded a 73 on Sunday. So after a 67 on Friday, a 67 on Thursday, a 71 on Friday, a 68 on Saturday, put himself in striking range, but carded a 73 on the final day there on Sunday. So finished tie for 7th, the former LSU Tiger, the Shreveport native. Sam Burns' day will come to be a Masters champion, no doubt about that. But it was Rory's day, as Rory becomes the 4th golfer to go back-to-back at the Masters. So congrats to Rory. Congrats to Sam Burns on a top 10 finish at a major championship. But no doubt, better days ahead still for Sam Burns. All right, it's After Further Review, y'all. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 1. Another gigantic recruiting decision is coming, and this one involving a 5-star from Baton Rouge. Got some thoughts on it next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town because so many people like me called River City's 1 Hour Air. We leave 5-star Google reviews at River City's 1 Hour Air. They got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor because for 40 years, they've been doing great work at a fair price and treating people awesome. And when that's your formula, you're going to hang around for 40 years. So I want to remind you, it's 84 degrees in Baton Rouge right now. Temps are going to get close to 90 this week. If you have not yet called River City's 1 Hour Air for your AC tune-up, it's time. Make sure you do this. They'll come out to the house. They'll check, make sure your AC is in tip-top shape for the coming warm weather, the warm weather that's here, to make sure it lasts throughout the summer months. And if there is a small issue, prevent it from becoming a big, expensive issue. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 5-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, we're wrapping up hour number one. Baseball Tigers were swept at Ole Miss this weekend. I'll get to the series recap here in about 12 minutes from right now. And I don't know a lot to say about the series. It's more about looking forward for the rest of the season, so we'll do that come up here in about a dozen minutes. So we found out over the weekend, hat tip to our buddy Sam Spiegelman over at Rivals, Elijah Haven is set to announce his commitment on April 25th. He's down to three schools, three SEC schools. It's Bama, Auburn, and Georgia. So Haven's going to commit to one of those three. It feels very much like Alabama has been trending there for a long time. You know, there's an old adage that we all know, that the grass is not always greener. I really, really, really hope for LSU's sake that this is one they don't end up regretting. And I know from a fan's perspective, we all look at the star rating and we see a 5-star, the number one quarterback in the country from Baton Rouge, and you're going, why aren't you recruiting this kid? Like, why are you letting him go to Bama, Georgia, or Auburn? And I think it's layered. And by the way, I think the world of Elijah Haven. He sat in our studio, was it a year ago, maybe? When the first time I met him, he was just shy of his 16th birthday and could not have been more impressed. Got to see Elijah and his dad, Kwame, at the Super Bowl as well. He was, by the way, you might have seen the EA sports announcement a week ago. Well, Elijah was at Super Bowl Radio Row with the folks from EA. Doing an appearance there. So I got to see him, got to visit with him a little bit there. Just like an incredibly impressive young guy. Not just the fact that he's 6'5", 220, but the fact that he's brilliant. I mean, he's a 35 on the ACT. He's so personable and respectful. Like, you hear people say he's the kind of kid that you'd want your daughter to marry, like that kind of. I mean, he's a great kid. Super smart. Oh, by the way, he's 6'5", 200, and he's a freak show, right? I mean, he's amazing. Great family, everything. And so, Elijah's family's from Georgia, so they're not necessarily like diehard LSU people, but Elijah is. Like, he's grown up here. He's gone to LSU games, and his friends are going to LSU and all that sort of stuff. And this is one of those things where LSU just didn't recruit him hard. Like, they made a decision. And I think you've had this weird circumstance between two staffs. I believe that the Brian Kelly staff got burned by Bryce Underwood and didn't want to have the same thing happen maybe with Haven. And so they had a bird in hand with Peyton Houston, who they really liked, and this kid from Louisiana who was pushing to commit. Like, he wanted LSU. So they took his commitment. And by the way, Pop Houston looks awesome. I am not in any way diminishing that. But it's hard not to look at the kid that's 6'5", 220, the number one quarterback in the country, who's in Baton Rouge and wanted to go to your school. It's a hard thing not to look at. Well, Brian Kelly gets fired, Lane Kiffin comes in, and apparently Kiffin at Ole Miss wasn't heavily recruiting Haven. And a lot of it is just sort of the style. I mean, just look at the quarterbacks that Kiffin had at Ole Miss. Chambliss, they have Chambliss listed at 6'1", which is a joke. Dude's maybe 5'10". Jackson Dart, they have him at 6'2", 223. That's probably generous at 6'2". I don't think Jackson Dart's 6'2". Matt Corral, they have listed at 6'1", 205. I don't know that Matt Corral is 6'1". Peyton Houston listed at 5'10", 202. Elijah Haven, 6'5", 220. Like, he doesn't fit the mold of what Lane Kiffin usually has at quarterback in his system. Peyton Houston does. But sometimes you break the mold for the right player. And I want great things for Elijah Haven. I don't want great things for Alabama, Auburn, or Georgia. And he's going to go to one of those places, and I really don't want him to win anything at any of those places. I'm like two things can be true at the same time. Very excited about the future with Peyton Houston at LSU because he looks dynamic and awesome and fits the skill set of what Lane Kiffin wants and Louisiana kid and wants LSU and all that. He's all in. I love that. That is true. I'm fired up about that. I'm also looking at a 6'5", 220-pound quarterback from Baton Rouge who wanted to go to LSU, and LSU made a different decision. And it makes me go, I hope you're right. All right. Elijah Haven set to commit here in less than 2 weeks. All right, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are presented by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get SportsCenter, get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back after the top of the hour, we'll talk a little LSU baseball. Really disappointing weekend in Oxford. We'll get to that next here on AFR.
After Further Review.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You know where to find them. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, look, at Shawbills, they're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. We talk about that all the time. And they guarantee it. It's part of the Charlie's Dozen. A dozen benefits guaranteed to you and your family whenever you do business at Shawbills. One of them is Charlie's Price Match Guarantee. So here's how it works. You buy tires at Shawbills. Right? Look, tires are a commodity. You buy a Michelin, it don't matter where you go, it's the same tire. Michelin, Bridgestone, BF Goodrich, Firestone, Toyo, same thing. So why would you go anywhere other than the place that's going to sell to you the cheapest and get you the best service? So that's what they guarantee you at Shawbills. Buy tires at Shawbills. Find that tire advertised cheaper somewhere else. They're going to refund you 125% of the difference. It's at Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona, and I've got to tell you about Dr. Chambliss Herod at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. Herod is Harvard-trained and brings world-class spine expertise right here to Louisiana. It's not just his credentials. It's the care his patients receive. Whether it's minimally invasive procedures, disc replacement, or treating spinal stenosis, Dr. Herod and his team take the time to develop treatment plans that actually work for you. With locations in Baton Rouge, Hammond, Lafayette, and beyond, visit SpineCenterLA.com or call today.
At Pala, we're more than just tanks. We're partners in industry. For over 52 years, our employee-owned team has delivered world-class industrial construction, fabrication, maintenance, and tank solutions across the nation. From ASME-coated vessels to precision piping and civil foundations, Pala has the people, the expertise, and the facilities to get the job done right. Built on trust, powered by experience. Choose Pala. Employee-owned. Relationship-driven. Visit palagroup.com.
Are you experiencing fatigue or low libido? At Rejuvame, you will meet in person with a nurse practitioner who will make recommendations based on your lab work. Testosterone therapy at RejuvameMedical.com. That's REJUVIME Medical.com.
Supreme service, supreme savings, supreme selection. It's simply Supreme Chevy in Gonzales, where you can expect more. More choices, from brand new Chevy Silverados to quality pre-owned vehicles, including nearly all makes and models. Get more with our pre-owned value line, which offers a big selection under $25,000. Visit us today or browse anytime at SupremeChevy.com. Supreme Chevrolet in Gonzales, your way, every day. It's simply the Supreme way. Chevy, together let's drive. Plus tax, title, and license.
Did you hear that? That's the sound of a propane burner starting off another epic tailgate. I'm Miss Louisiana Gabrielle McLeod with some safety messages for your next trip to the ballpark. First, check the tailgating rules at your venue. Most stadiums have strict rules about when, where, and how to tailgate safely. Propane is almost always welcomed outdoors, so make sure your tank is full or bring a spare. For more tips, visit LouisianaPropane.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims?
your best bullpen arm, Cowan, in a loss. And that set you up for the inevitable the next day, and then ultimately Sunday. Because we know for this team, you are not a good defensive team, and you do not have a deep bullpen of options that can consistently throw strikes. That being the case, when you do put your best bullpen options out there, you need them to deliver for you, and you need to win those games. Unfortunately for LSU, they were too sloppy in game one. It wasn't just the 8th inning. Pass ball on Cerna in the first was atrocious. It was a fastball from Casey Evans that popped out of his glove, went halfway between catcher and the mound, and the run scored from third. It was a fastball. Catch the ball. Cade Arambidi got back picked at third base. Mason Braun singled to lead off the 8th, then gets picked off at first base. In the 4th inning, you had a runner at third base with less than 2 outs. Dardar couldn't get the squeeze bunt down. You ended up not getting that run home. In the 3rd, you had a runner on second with nobody out. Didn't get a run home. Like, it's bad baseball. This is a bad baseball team. There's a lot of talented guys. They're a bad team. And that game was emblematic of that. Over the course of 3 games, your starting pitchers, 3 starters combined to give you 10 innings. There's 27 innings across 3 games. Your 3 starters combined to give you 10 innings. Grant Fontenot went a third of an inning on Sunday. William Schmidt didn't get out of the 4th. After a dominant no hits through the first 3 innings, didn't get out of the 4th. It all unraveled. When your starting pitching gives you 10 innings and you're not great with a bullpen with limited options that can throw strikes, typically you have what happened. You get run ruled in game 2. You find yourself in a 7-0 hole in game 3. Credit LSU for fighting back, and credit both Santiago Garcia and Marcos Paz for throwing up some zeros that gave your offense a shot to get back in it. And you came back and you tied it. I mean, it was 7-0. You come back with a 7 spot in the 7th. Back-to-back homers, and then it just sort of unraveled on Ole Miss. A couple of boneheaded plays. Clutch single by Braden Simpson, 2 out, 0-2 pitch, 2 RBI single to get LSU within 7-6, and a pass ball would tie the game. But, as is sort of symbolic of the season, you tie it with a 7-run rally in the 7th, and the top of the 8th, you give in the bottom of the inning, you go give it right back. So, really disappointing, man, how it all went. There is some good. I mentioned. There's all the puke. You're 3 games under 500 at the halfway point of conference play at 6-9. You got swept on the road. Bad. All the things we've said. All of us. Not that we've all said, right? Here's the good. Here's the good news. Thought Mason Braun was really good at first base. Friday, he was 3 for 4. Give him another shot. Saturday, he was 2 for 3. Give him another shot. Sunday, he was 0 for 4, but I don't really care. 5 of 11 on the weekend at .454. He's earned the opportunity to keep playing. Zach York can't swing it at this level. Braun, we've talked about this for 6 weeks now with Cerna and with Braun. On Friday, you had 2 hitters in the lineup with multi-hit games. Cerna and Braun, the 2 freshmen. Like, keep playing them. I don't care about Zach York's feelings. Braun has earned the opportunity to keep playing. And he's a much higher ceiling player. Keep playing Braun first. I mentioned Simpson. With Dardar out, Simpson went in there, got the 2 out, 0-2, 2 RBI, single in the 7th to pull you within 7-6. Big spot for Simpson, a guy who has just underperformed the season. He was one of the transfers you brought in expecting to be an impact guy, and it hasn't worked. But in that moment, you needed a big knock, and he came through. So good on you, Braden Simpson, for that moment. And then I mentioned Garcia and Paz. I thought that was great. Garcia and Paz gave you a shot. Garcia gave you an inning in 2/3. Paz was clean in the 7th. In the 6th. And then, obviously, he allowed the leadoff man in the 7th. They went to Sheeran, and that run would come home to score. So, disappointing it went the way that it did, but you're looking for guys who can get you outs in leverage situations, and those 2 guys gave you a shot. So, here's the outlook. Okay, let's go big picture. Let's pull back away from this weekend, which was puke-worthy and awful and not fun at all to watch. Let's go 10,000-foot view and look at everything, okay? What we know is that 13 wins in the SEC is what you need to get to regionals. You hit 13 wins, more than likely you're going to earn a regional berth at 13 and 17 in the SEC. There's just enough. There's enough RPI opportunities, as everyone keeps talking about RPI, which I get, but you just played 3 games on the road against a top 15 RPI team. You're going to have 3 games on the road against a top 5 RPI team in Georgia. You have 3 games on the road against Mississippi State, which I don't know what they are today, but a top 20 RPI team, I would imagine. And you've got South Carolina and Florida still ahead as well. So you've got plenty of RPI opportunities that's going to take care of itself. So at 6-9 right now, you effectively need to find a way to go 7-8 in your next 15. Can you pull that off with home series against A&M, South Carolina, and Florida, and then road series against Mississippi State and Georgia? Well, State's been swept at home the last 2 times. Georgia's going to be really tough. No way around that. South Carolina's not a very good baseball team. Then again, neither are you, but you get that series in Baton Rouge. And then A&M, maybe a little bit of a letdown spot for A&M, a desperate spot for LSU. Can you find a way to scratch across 7 wins? I mean, I'll remind you that in 2024, at this point in the season, right? I'm not sunshine pumping. I'm giving you objective facts. At this point in the season, 2 years ago, coming off the national championship, disappointing start, LSU was 3-12. 3-12. This team is 6-9. This team is 3 games better than that one at this point. That team went 10-5 in the second half. Now, they had Luke Holman and Gage Jump. They had a really good 1-2 punch at the front of the rotation. This team might have that if Evans and Schmidt keep developing and pitch better, which they can. Haven't to this point, but are capable. And you're going to get Cooper Moore back at some point. We just talked about the lack of bullpen options. Well, anybody that can get you outs and consistently throw strikes alleviates some of that pressure. Even if Cooper Moore comes back and just gets you 6 outs, 9 outs, whatever it is, anything that alleviates more of that burden from the bullpen is a good thing. So you're going to get Moore back. Jay said maybe in some capacity this week. We'll see. But he's going to come back at some point. And there's a lot of examples of teams that were in much worse shape that got to the postseason. Last year, Florida was 1-11 through 12 games. 1-11 made it to regionals. In 2022, Ole Miss was literally the last at-large team in the field, won the national championship. I'm not sitting here suggesting that there's these, I'm not delusional. I'm not telling you this team's going to figure it out, put it together, go on a run. They're flawed. They're a bad defensive team. They don't have a bullpen that can consistently throw strikes, and your starters haven't been dominant. You don't have dominant front-end starting pitching. You don't have anything you need to make a run in the postseason. You have enough on this team, however, to find a way to 13 SEC wins, and if you do that, you should be playing in regionals. But ultimately, I mean, this is baseball. But ultimately, this team has fatal flaws that are ultimately going to cost this team its season, wherever that is. There is a long way to go. You're only at the halfway point of conference play. You've got 15 more to go. And 2 years ago, a lot of y'all wanted to throw dirt on this team when they were 3-12, and you just have to run the marathon. It's a 30-game marathon in conference play. So you got a desperate LSU team at home this weekend against an A&M team, maybe in a letdown spot after their big weekend series against Texas. Maybe, just maybe, LSU can find a way to scratch out a couple of wins at the box this weekend. They need it because now you got your target, right? You've basically continued to recalibrate. You're no longer anywhere near a national seed conversation. We could have, after back-to-back series wins, looked at what a realistic outcome would have looked like to get to a host situation, which 16 wins was going to be the floor for that. That doesn't feel realistic now at the halfway point, feeling like you got to go 10-5 the rest of the way to make that happen. So let's look at something that does look realistic. Can you go 7-8 in the second half? 1 game better than you did in the first. You find a way to do that, You should be in regional play. Let the chips fall where they may. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, and we always tell you about First South Farm Credit. Hey, look, maybe it's that recreational property in Mississippi. Maybe it's a hunting property in Texas. Maybe you work in New Orleans, and you love to work in the city, but you want to enjoy the rural lifestyle for you and your family. Well, First South Farm Credit can make that happen. Log on to FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Maybe as you're doing taxes right now, we're a couple of days away from tax day. Maybe you're thinking, okay, what can I do in 2026 to maybe lower my tax burden? Well, owning recreational timber property could be a great benefit. Talk to your CPA. But your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com for First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Busy show. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're back on video, Paulie? Okay, good. Is YouTube back up? All right, Paulie's getting YouTube back up as well. So apologize for that, but we appreciate the work to get back on. So we are back on video. If you were watching, jumped over to audio. If you want to jump back on video, we're there on YouTube on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and WBTR. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. There is one target for the New Orleans Saints in the draft that keeps gaining more and more and more and more traction. I want to talk about them next on AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. If you run a business, if you hire within your business,
or team
you're the
leaders.
ops manager, the HR manager, the VP of operations, whatever it may be. If you're the person in your business responsible for finding the right people in your business to make you the most profitable you can be, you need Glow Resources. Because Glow Resources helps businesses all over the world, all over the state, the country, the world, find the people that helps make them the most effective they can be. And yes, I tell you all the time, Glow Resources helps businesses all over the world. But home base is right here on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge and on Metairie Road in Metairie. Skilled blue-collar labor or any type of office job. You need the right people. Glow Resources can help. GLO, glowresources.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So, of course.
Love telling you about our friends over at River Parish Contractors. I mean that legitimately. Saturday, I was over at the Titan Combat Championship fights at LaBerge and got to hang out with Ronnie and his bride. Awesome people and a great way to spend a Saturday night. And so when I tell you about River Parish Contractors and, maybe right now, you're looking for work. welder, pipe fitter, whatever it may be, River Parish Contractors wants to hear from you. And they pride themselves on being local. So the shop is in Reserve, and they do work from Baton Rouge to Chalmette on both sides of the river. So no matter where you live, they have something that'll be within proximity to you, so you're not fighting hours of traffic every night trying to get home. And as far as getting home, by the way, you can be home for dinner every night with your family. River Parish Contractors makes that a key. And they're going to keep you busy too. It's not like they're going to bring you on for a couple of weeks and have to lay you off. It's River Parish Contractors. Check them out. Apply online at rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Pels season came to an end Sunday night. Jake Madison will be here in 10 minutes from right now. David Dellecci next hour, recap the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference. So sometimes in the lead up to the NFL draft, there is so much conversation about one player and a team. And maybe just candidly, maybe I'm just conditioned to this from all the years that Mike Detillier came on the show. If you're not familiar, Mike D came on this show every Thursday for the entire 4 o'clock hour for a dozen years, from the inception of the show until a few years ago when he left to do his afternoon show. And there's so many times Mike just hammered this into my head. And I remember there were times where throughout the entire process, there was, you would continue to hear a name of a player over and over and over again associated with a team, and it would hit. Like, I remember specific ones with the Saints. Like, in 2014, Mike D and I had to have talked about Brandon Cooks a million times. It was like, through the whole pre-draft process. Brandon Cooks. Sure enough, first round, Brandon Cooks. The next year, when Stephon Anthony was coming out of Clemson, the New Orleans Saints loved Stephon Anthony. Like, Mike D talked about it over and over and over and over and over again. They pulled the trigger on Stephon Anthony. A couple of years ago, remember Brian Brzee? Brian Brzee was in everybody's mock draft going to New Orleans. Everybody knew the Saints needed interior defensive line help. Brzee was a fit, stylistically, everything. They ended up taking Brzee. Sometimes that happens. This year, that conversation is happening around Chris Bell. It feels the exact same. The Saints have met with him privately. We all know the drill, right? He was Tyler Shuck's teammate at Louisville. This is a guy that many think of as would have been a potential first-round pick, but for the devastating knee injury that's going to cause him maybe to be a little off track for the start of the season. We'll see. But it was interesting because I was doing some show prep today, and I came across a piece over at ESPN.com, and they asked coaches from their conferences to talk about players within their conference that they think are quote-unquote sleepers in the draft. And so I love pieces like that, where you give coaches or GMs or whatever anonymity to speak candidly, right? And so you kind of have to we talk about it all the time, you kind of have to just believe that the people they're talking to are legitimate and who they say they are. So, but this is ESPN.com, and so they talked to an ACC coach. Well, they talked to Jeff Brom about Bell on the record, who acknowledged the injury is going to hurt his draft stock, but he said he's a guy that could shine at the next level. Quote, this is Jeff Brom, the Louisville head coach. He's got a big physical body. He runs well with that. He went from the third best receiver to the second most productive to the most productive. He didn't shy away from the competition. Love that. Then an anonymous ACC coach says of Bell, quote, he was the best receiver in our league. He's a guy that, without the injuries, is definitely a top 80 pick. Quote, he was the best receiver in our league. Y'all say ACC. Miami played for a national championship. Remember that, like, super duper speed guy who caught the touchdown pass in the national championship game? Like, the little guy from Miami? I can't remember his name, doesn't matter. But, like, y'all, the best receiver in the league? big-bodied dude at 6'2", 222. Saints ain't got that. I know they got Devon Vele, but please spare me Devon Vele. Like, Devon Vele went half the season with, 4 catches. And then he had a couple of games where he was productive, got hurt. I hope he's great. I hope he comes back from the injury and is awesome. And he might be. But I got such a small sample of him being good for me to actually believe that's going to continue to carry over. Hope it does. And it could. I can't take that to the bank. I'm hopeful for Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk was a first-round pick. He was talented enough at Washington to be a first-round pick. Completely busts. The Saints end up getting him for a sack of crawfish. Actually, the sack of crawfish might have been a good deal for the other guys. But Polk was on IR, missed all of last season. You gave him basically a redshirt year, get him healthy. Maybe you can tap into the potential. Hopefully, but again, hopefully. So I like the idea when you've got little bitty wee people at receiver, like Chris Olave, to give me someone that is a big-bodied receiver with a long frame, a big catch radius, and something different for teams to have to defend. Like Shaheed, great. When he was here, I know he's gone, but Shaheed, Olave, they go sign Brandon Cooks. All these dudes are all 5'10". Where's the 6'4" dude? Oh, Chris Bell. And Tyler Shuck loves him. And if what you're trying to do is build around Tyler Shuck because you think he's your franchise and Tyler Shuck loves him and already has a rapport with him, great. And by the way, because he's injured, you might be able to get him at a value outside of round 1 or maybe even outside of round 2. Okay. Do your due diligence. Do the top 30. Do the medical. Do all the stuff. But everything that keeps coming back here tells you over and over, Bell is a fit. New Orleans loves him, wants him, and there's probably going to be a time in this draft where the right circumstances are going to rise where they may pull the trigger. That is unless they take a receiver at 8 overall. And I'm going to tell you, the more I look at the depth in this draft, look, if the New Orleans Saints take Carnell Tate at 8 overall, I promise you this. On Thursday the 23rd, if the New Orleans Saints write Carnell Tate's name on a card and turn it in and take Carnell Tate at 8 overall, I'm over the moon. You're talking about a giant wide receiver that can fly. And the Saints, in my lifetime, have never had a true, dominant, number 1, game-breaking receiver. Okay? I'm not talking about Marcus Colston was a very productive receiver. The other guy from Ohio State, whose name I don't even want to say, was a very productive wide receiver. I'm talking about game breakers. Not 12 yards over the middle, strong hands. I'm talking Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. I'm talking JSN. You've never had that in New Orleans. Carnell Tate could be that. I'd be fired up. But if you decide to go elite edge rusher, elite corner, whatever, at 8, and then you're sitting there around 2 or 3 and you get a guy like Chris Bell, I'm going to be maybe even more pumped about that because you got the elite level defender and you got to get better at every level of your defense. And you get maybe a steal in the draft. More people keep talking about Chris Bell, man, the more likely that seems. Keep an eye on that one. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Always love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Need an SUV? Great. Volkswagen's got tons of them. From the Tiguan to the Atlas Crossport to the Atlas, which is the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Need a sedan? Great. Go check them out at South Point Volkswagen. All the style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost, and 9 different IIHS top safety picks, meaning you're going to drive one of the safest vehicles on the road that's affordable, stylish, and fun to drive. Oh, and did I mention they're manufactured in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant? So you're supporting American jobs. It's South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Let me knock out a break, come back. Our buddy Jake Madison from Locked On Pels is going to be here. Pels season came to an end on Sunday night with the loss to Minnesota. So we'll recap the season, talk about James Borrego's future, who they're going to hire as a head coach, what are they doing in the draft. Oh, that's right. They didn't top 10 protect their pick. Idiots. Whatever. Jake Madison's next. Stay for.
AFR.
We're about to buy the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Renaissance Baton Rouge, gorgeous hotel property. You know, every Renaissance is unique to that market. Unique is a word that often gets misused. Unique means literally only one. And every Renaissance is unique to that market. So like when you walk into Renaissance Baton Rouge, you look at that sculpture behind the front desk. That is a 2-scale model of the Mississippi River and its estuaries. You look at the carpet designs; those are crab traps. You go into the guest rooms, the wallpaper, it's like a Cajun dictionary. These are all things that are unique to that location. So it's awesome. And Tallulah, inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge, is a casual upscale dining experience. It isn't just like a hotel restaurant. It's a casual upscale dining experience. Great place to go do business, a business lunch, or to hang out, a great date night. Check it out right there on Bluebonnet. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
The areas of growth overall, the things I'm most proud of in the season are the commitment that I saw to competing every night. That we built a culture of competitiveness, of availability. From December 1st to last night, we were the 8th most healthy team. That we showed up, we were available. You know that has been an issue here in the past.
James Borrego, we had an unenviable task this year replacing Willie Green. Pelican season comes to an end. They lose to Minnesota on Sunday night. Pels finished 30 games Pelicans, under 500, 26 and 56. Jake Madison had the misfortune of talking about every single game, every single day. He's good enough to join us now, Locked on Pels. What was that like?
I've been covering this team for 15 years, so I've seen some pretty bad basketball at times, some very interesting circumstances and seasons. This was probably the least fun I think it's ever been to cover a team, and this is a job that I have that I find very fun usually. So it was a bit of a different year. It's just the life kind of felt sucked out of the building there.
Yeah. Hey, if you're writing the lead on the season, you're doing the postmortem. How does that read?
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, what's one word I would use to describe this season? And the word I would use, and I think it's appropriate for your question here, is mismanaged is what it was. This wasn't an entire waste of a season. You found players in Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen that you drafted that look like cornerstone players eventually on a playoff team in the future, particularly at the end of the season. They looked very good. You found Saddiq Bey, and you got him in that Jordan Poole trade with the Washington Wizards. Bey is a guy that they will look to extend this offseason. Zion Williamson was healthy. That's kind of been the big question about him, and he kind of proved that he can do it this year, and he does seem like a bit of a different person. But the process to kind of get everywhere with those results was absolutely misguided at best. To get Saddiq Bey in, you had to make the Jordan Poole trade, and he only played 39 games because he basically got dropped from the rotation because he was so bad. And this is somebody that they thought was going to be a lead guard for this team, your starting point guard, essentially. They felt that Zion Williamson, if healthy, would lead them to a ton of wins. Zion Williamson played in 62 games this year. That's more than double what he played last year. And the Pelicans only won 5 more games. That is a big indictment on the way that they have built this roster and what they thought this roster was capable of doing. And for those rookies, they're going to look great in 3-4 years where they're going to be borderline all-star level players, I think. But rookies don't help you win in the NBA. And so this 2-timeline approach they had of, are we going to be bad and develop young guys, or we're going to develop young guys and win, just doesn't work. And so they did a lot of things right, but the process to kind of get there created other issues for them. And that's why I think it was just a mismanaged season. It goes back to the head coach at the beginning, keeping Willie Green, firing him after 12 games. Borrego steps in and probably did about as well as you could do given the circumstances. But I asked Borrego this today, what is there a feeling of what could have been if he had an entire offseason with this group? Because you universally heard the players kind of sing his praises and what he brought to the team. And so everything about the way the Pelicans went about things this year was just misguided, and they mismanaged a season.
I'm glad you went to Borrego because we can filter down into the roster here, but I guess, Jake, in the offseason, the top objective is you got to go hire a coach, right? First of all, does Borrego have any chance of getting this job on a full-time basis?
Yeah, I'd say there's a slim chance. I don't think he is the front runner for it. I don't think it's the guy that they really want to hire. But if this is not the most attractive NBA job, and look, I don't see why it would be, truthfully, they might end up falling back to him in a week or two if this coaching search kind of goes nowhere and they can't find someone to take the job. So at that point, you may as well elevate Borrego. The optics of that, I think, will look pretty bad. That's similar to what Tulane did, I think, with Will Hall, where it's like you hired a search consultant to just end up with the guy internally, which means things probably didn't go too well with how you're doing this. So I view it kind of like that a little bit. So I think there's a chance because I don't know how appealing this job is around the NBA right now.
If I gave you the keys to the franchise, you could make the hire. What direction are you looking?
So if it's me making the hire, I want someone focused on development. If I'm setting the direction of this franchise, it's not to try and be competitive and make the playoffs next year. It's to build around Jeremiah Fears, around Derek Queen. The good news for the Pelicans, they own next year's pick. They don't have it in this upcoming draft, but they have it the year after. So you can be bad, right? You can be bad and reap the benefits of that while playing these young guys and letting them develop more. NBA players usually take till their third year to really contribute to winning at a high level and helping a team make the playoffs. We're still 2 years away from that from these young guys. There's no reason to put that kind of pressure on them in their second year and almost make them the needed saviors of the franchise here. They take a big leap and maybe the Pelicans make the playoffs. I don't think that's necessarily the most realistic thing based on just the history of the NBA here. And so I would hire someone that's focused on development. Bring in a young head coach who's known for developing young guys as an assistant and setting a culture that will be sustainable once these guys kind of come into their own and start to help you win in a couple of years.
At NOLA Jake is where you can find him. Make sure you subscribe, Locked On Pelicans, wherever you get a podcast or, of course, on YouTube. You mentioned the draft, not having the pick. I mean, it's fair to say, Jake, that's part of the mismanagement, yes?
Yeah, look, I think Derek Queen's going to be a good NBA player. I absolutely do. But is there a way to get Derek Queen without giving up next year's first-round pick? And I think the answer to that is probably yes. You know, we don't exactly know what the negotiations were between the Pelicans and the Atlanta Hawks. But when you look at the moves the Pelicans make, there's a clear MO there, right? They favor a certain kind of guy, and that comes from their, I forget his exact title, but I think it's like Associate Vice President, Executive Vice President. That's Troy Weaver, kind of a step above a GM. He favors certain types of players, and everyone kind of knows this, and Atlanta certainly took advantage of that, I think, in trade negotiations. So there was probably a way to get your guy without giving up what you did. At a certain point, while, yes, this pick might look good in Derek Queen, it's process over results, and the process was bad, and you're not likely to run into a good result when you do that a second time here. When you look at the NBA this year, there were 8 teams that I think lost 55 or more games. The only team that doesn't have their pick and wasn't actively trying to tank is the New Orleans Pelicans. That's a pretty bad group to be involved in when you're trying to win basketball games.
I just hate being a fan of this team, but I can't quit them.
Matt, it's rough.
Is there all right, I'll go big picture. Let me stay focused. I'll go big picture in a second. What about the current roster? You're not really facing any free agent situations. Are there free agent targets potentially for this team?
So, you know, when you look at the roster and where they are in relation to the NBA salary cap and how it works with the hard cap, the soft cap, right? Like they don't have money to spend in free agency. They'll have what's called the non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is going to be about $12 million or so. They'll have a few other things they can do that are a little bit less than that. But for the most part, you'd be looking at them to add one guy, most likely, in free agency. But free agency in the NBA doesn't work like it once did. You don't see big-name players anymore change teams in free agency. You rarely see like massively impactful players change teams in free agency anymore. And under the current collective bargaining agreement, the reason that draft pick is so valuable and why you're seeing rampant tanking around the league is the most viable way to build a contender is through the draft because you can't get these players other ways. It doesn't exist in free agency anymore. So they'll certainly be looking to try and add some sort of depth piece in free agency, but if you're looking for them to kind of make a big move, it's going to be on the trade market, and that's what they need to do. They need to upgrade the center position. That's the most important thing for them. They were one of the worst defensive rebounding teams last season. You can't just keep giving up offensive boards, second chance points, and defending for even longer because that not only is going to mean opponents are scoring against you, it tires your team out. When you saw this team surrender leads in the fourth quarter, a big part of that is they're essentially playing extra defensive possessions. That wears on you. That means you're going to be tired on the offensive side of the ball late in games. You're not going to be able to make shots. It's something that compounds on itself here. And you saw that with this team. So they need to upgrade the center spot because Derek Queen and Zion Williamson do not work well together. So one of those guys will need to come off the bench, and you need to bring in a center that can gobble up the defensive glass. Otherwise, in a Western Conference where fewer teams are going to be tanking next year, you're going to be stuck.
Jake, if there isn't necessarily an avenue to add a significant roster piece, and you're running it back, you'll have a new coach, but you're running it back with effectively the same roster. What are we realistically thinking next season's going to look like?
You know, I think at best it's the play-in tournament is probably what you're looking at. You know, I think they're not going to be a top 6 team in the Western Conference. The West is absolutely going to be loaded next year. The Utah Jazz aren't going to be tanking. The Clippers won't be tanking still. Portland's not tanking anymore. there's very few teams that are going to be actively trying to lose games. There's going to be more that are trying to win all of a sudden. So it's going to put you in that mix fighting between 10th and 8th on a best-case scenario. And I think that's actually the worst place to be in the NBA. You look at a team like the Chicago Bulls that just cleaned house with their front office because they were perpetually just trying to be relevant enough. Let's sneak into the postseason through the play-in tournament. We'll lose in the first round, but we can say we were a playoff team. And you're essentially chasing mediocrity. And what that's going to do is you're not going to get a top 4 pick, which is the best way to add talent in the NBA draft. And you're going to just be stuck where you are. You'll get some nice players. You won't be absolutely atrocious. But in the NBA, you either really truthfully want to be bottoming out, or you've got to be one of those top teams, and being stuck in the middle is essentially purgatory here. And you mentioned, let's say they don't make a big move. I mean, there is an avenue for them to do that. You could probably go out and get a big-name center or make a massive one move or so. But that's going to involve future draft capital. And after this last season, do you trust this front office to trade away another future first-round pick? Because I think that's my big concern, that now they're kind of trapped, and that's almost the only way out.
Jake Madison with all the good news. Locked on Pelicans. Podcast, YouTube, make sure you subscribe. He's on Twitter at NOLA Jake. Give him a follow. We always appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me on, Matt.
Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. Watching the Pels sometimes makes you want to gouge your eyes out. Sometimes you wish you didn't have 20/20 vision when you watch the Pels. But with better days ahead, you're going to want to see it in crystal clear high definition. So how do you do that? You go to the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson and his staff, by the way, they got locations all over Greater Baton Rouge. So I tell you all the time, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. So eye care, do your annual eye exam. Eyewear, if you wear contacts or glasses, they can update your prescription, fill that prescription as well. And, of course, eye surgery. Refractive procedures, no matter your age or your refractive issue. You've been told you're not a candidate for LASIK? Great. Evo ICL could be for you. Maybe you're not a candidate for LASIK and it's PRK or the custom lens replacement. There's so many different options to help you ditch contacts and glasses forever. They have affordable options. They have financing options. They're going to make it work for you. You want to see perfect? The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, final break here of hour number 2. David Dellecci talking some SEC baseball in 15 minutes. There were a handful of spring games around the SEC this weekend. Our buddy Chris Marler from LouisianaSports.net will be here. And I have I'm going to circle back to the LSU quarterback situation. We're going to get to all that in hour number 3. Don't you move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential. Think real estate. Think Darren James. You can always get to agent225.com. Agent225.com, the most user-friendly website in real estate. And when you go to agent225.com, that's part of the process that makes working with Darren James so enjoyable. You know, there's regularly when Americans are surveyed about the most stressful experiences in their life, buying a home or moving generally ranks at or near the top. For Darren James and his team, their goal is to flip that, is to make the home buying or selling or moving experience as stress-free and enjoyable as possible. It is exciting. You're moving on to something new in life, or whatever the case may be. And Darren and his team are going to make it an enjoyable experience. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Are brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows, door siding. Do shutters and shades too. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, Muso's out, so Jordan has the honor. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we're going to start with the MLB. So Alex Bregman went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, 1 walk as the Cubs squeeze out a 7-6 win versus the Pirates. So Jake Fraley, he went 1 for 4, scored 1 run as the Rays beat the Yankees. I know that you're a Yankees fan. 5-4. Hunter Fiducia, I had to do my research. Went 0 for 2 as the Rays beat the Yankees. Another Rays player, 5-4. Cole Henry, that's where it gets a little bit bad. So he had 0 innings pitched, 1 home run, 2 earned runs, 1 walk with a 6.43 ERA. As the Nationals they beat the Brewers 8-6. Alex Yang, 1 inning pitched, 2 Ks, 1 walk. Alex Yang? Lang. I don't know why I'm thinking of Yang. Too much rush hour. Alex Lang. One inning pitch, 2 Ks, 1 walk. Royals fall to the White Sox, lost to the White Sox 6-5. Grant Taylor, so this is a little bit weird. He started the game, 2 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 2 Ks, and the White Sox outlasted the Royals. So he's one of those like starters, 2 innings, and just sit on the bench. All right, Josh.
An opener?
Yeah, opener. You know, I'm not a big baseball guy. So Josh Smith. Josh Smith went 2 for 5, 1 RBI as the Rangers beat the Dodgers 5-2. That's Tigers in the pros.
Well done, Jordan.
Thank you.
Slow down a little bit next time. But good. You got a lot in there. Got to get it in.
You
worked so hard to get Fiducia right, you screwed up Lang.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, as long as I say Fiducia right, I did all that research this morning to say Fiducia. I was not going to blow it this time. Can't do that.
You got Fiducia.
Yes.
You screwed up Lang.
I really don't know how. I kept saying Yang. Like you
were saying Yang.
Yeah, Yang.
Like Yin Yang.
Alex
Yang.
Twins. That might be his nickname.
No,
Yin
it's
Yang?
not. It's Langer.
Langer?
I'm Alex, great dude. Been on the show many times. Call him right now if you want. You want to call him?
We can call him.
We'll call him right now and tell him that you screwed up his name.
Oh, no, we don't got to do that.
We can do that. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. That's our friends over at Parish Restoration. They'll come in and spray their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. They do work all over the country, man. Really excited for Jim Woodworth and the gang over at Parish Restoration to see their continued progress. Not just homes, but any size commercial or industrial facility. Got mold, odor, sweat, pet, smoke, anything. Parish will come in, spray their fog, close up the doors and the windows, let it dwell. As soon as it dissipates, boom, you're back in free, clear, clean, fresh smelling, awesome, sanitized building. ParishRestoration.com. Check them out online. ParishRestoration.com. ParishRestoration.com. All right, someone who is a big baseball guy is David Dellecci. He played Major League Baseball, Jordan. I'm not sure if you knew that. But David Dellecci, he'll be with us coming up right after the top of the hour. A rally cap has returned to the SEC Network. Excited about that. So we'll talk about the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference with Luch coming up right after Sports Center. Chris Marler will be here next hour, as well as a handful of teams that had spring games across the Southeastern Conference. We'll let you know what you need to know. Busy, hour number 3, staring straight in the face. It's AFR.
AFR.
Just told you about restoration. Now let me tell you about Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Tilly and Joe and our whole crew over at Parish Construction and Roofing. As we move into storm season, if it's been a minute since you've even thought about your roof, probably a good time to let us come do that free, no obligation roofing inspection. I want to remind you, of course, if you look at your roof after a storm and you see some of the granules in your gutter downspout, maybe you need new gutters. Maybe it's not your home. Maybe it's your office. At Parish, not only do we do residential, but any size of commercial or industrial job, we do that as well. Actually doing work right now at one of the chemical plants. So all different type of roofing issues, from small commercial or small residential repairs to giant commercial re-roofs. We could do everything in between. We'll treat you like family. Parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Stars are out tonight in New York City for the 2026 WNBA Draft. Coverage on ESPN TV in 1 hour. The top overall pick belongs to Dallas for a second straight year. No real consensus number one, but there's one former UConn star who could make a difference for several teams, including the Wings, explains ESPN WNBA analyst Monica McNutt.
When you look at what Dallas has done with free agency and so far in terms of retooling their roster, they kind of have enough bigs put in place. They re-signed Arike Ogunbowale. They have Paige Beckers. Both of those young women are ball-dominant sort of guards. So it makes sense that you find a shooter, and that would mean AZ Fudd is probably going to be the first number one pick.
Lakers star Luka Doncic, who spent the last week in Spain receiving multiple injections for his hamstring strain, will be returning to Los Angeles on Friday. The team still hasn't given a timeline for his return, but ESPN's Ramona Shelburne's reported a return for the first round of the NBA playoffs against Houston cannot be ruled out. Game 1 is Saturday. Two-time Stanley Cup champ Rangers netminder Jonathan Quick announcing he's retiring after almost 20 NHL seasons.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan, 20-footer, head of the key, good!
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Tigers get swept over the weekend at Ole Miss. They hit the halfway point at 6-9 in league play. Long way to go, but a lot of work to do. David Dellecci, SEC Network, joins us. Luch, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Okay, the optimist in me says at this point, 2 years ago, LSU was 3-12, and they managed to find a way to the postseason. The realist in me goes, yeah, this team's not very good. So where do you fall?
I still have optimism for this team. We mentioned last year Florida was 1-11. They ended up making it all the way to the regionals. I think LSU has enough talent to be able to find themselves in a regional. They are running out of time. The good news for them is currently 6 SEC teams that have been ranked during the course of the year have sub-500 records, so they're not alone. A lot of other teams in the boat. What LSU absolutely has to do is they can't be bad in all 3 phases of the game at one time. If your pitching's not going to throw strikes, your offense needs to carry the load, your defense needs to step up. So, unfortunately, right now, they just are not doing the basic things in the game that help you win the ball games. And when I look around, LSU's 14th in ERA in the SEC. They also have 51 wild pitches and 52 hits batter. So when you have stats like that, you're giving the other team opportunities to score runs, and ultimately you can turn back the clock and look at how many games you basically gave away because you just didn't play fundamental baseball.
Yeah, they've already committed more errors this year than they did all of last year, and they just don't throw enough strikes. Can you fix that, Luch? Can you find a way in the second half to be better defensively and to throw more strikes?
I mean, look, LSU won the national championship with a team that early on, was it last year or in 2023, where Jay Johnson said, we're going to solely focus on catching the ball in the infield. And it turned around. These guys are uber talented, man. They're super athletes. They can do all of this. The rosters, I keep defending them because after the portal, we all thought they had one of the deepest pitching rotations and deeper than what they had last year. And they're just not able to step up and compete right now. And, I mean, who would ever thought LSU in Game 2 was going to throw 7 pitchers and then Game 3, 5 pitchers? It's just nothing's coming together. And sometimes when you dig a big hole, it's harder to get out of it. You don't see daylight anymore. And they need a game where they can just everything clicks at one time and they can hit the reset button and then say, all right, this is what we're capable of. Let's all get on track now.
Well, they do have opportunities ahead. This week they'll bring Texas A&M into the box. Now, the Aggies didn't play Game 3 against Texas. It got canceled because of weather, but they won the first 2 games in a really emotional setting there because of Schlossnagel's return to College Station. Luch, when you look at A&M taking 2 from Texas this weekend, the manner in which they did, what stood out most to you with what the Aggies were able to pull off?
They made an adjustment in their pitching rotation. They moved Aiden Sims up to the number 2 spot, and he did great. And sometimes that boosts a whole rotation and a lineup. The other thing is, when you come out in Game 2 and you score 8 runs right out of the gate, it's pretty easy to win that ball game. And yes, it was emotional. There was a circus atmosphere out there, but they held their composure and proved that this is one of the better offenses in the country, man. I mean, they are really, really good. And oftentimes we get hung up in the thinking about the A&M team from last year. This is not that team. This is a team that can slug. They're led by Gavin Grahovac, who is a man-child as a sophomore. He missed most of last season with an injury. His freshman year, hit 23 home runs, and he's having a tremendous year. Caden Sorrell is leading the SEC in home runs. And then they've got some freshmen. Nico Partita is legit. From top to bottom, it's a tremendous lineup. The shaky part is the pitching staff, but they're going to score enough runs to cover them.
David Dellecci is with us, SEC Network. When I look at what LSU has ahead, they have A&M. They've also then got a road trip to Mississippi State, who all of a sudden lose. They just got swept at home by Tennessee. They've been swept in back-to-back home series. What's going on?
You know, the first series was against Georgia, and Georgia had a really good weekend. It's odd to have an opposing team come in there and feel as comfortable as both of those teams did in Duty Noble in front of that crowd. Tennessee was able just to put it all together, and they had some really good pitching performances. I just think State hit a road bump for a couple weekends in a row, and it just so happened to be at home. They're extremely talented. They're a veteran ball club. And still right now, they're number 2 in the SEC in batting average and number 3 in ERA. So if you look at what they've done during the course of the year, the talent is there. You just, during the course of the season, you have these weird hiccups that you can't figure out what happened. And unfortunately for them, it was at home. But that is a really good team led by a really good head coach. And I truly believe they'll get back on track.
The other big eye-opener was Alabama being swept at home by Arkansas, Arkansas had looked like they were scuffling, then all of a sudden, boom, they go on the road against a top 10 team and sweep. So make sense of this with what happened in Tuscaloosa this weekend.
Arkansas, just like A&M, they made some changes to their rotation. Hunter Dietz is one of the better pitchers in the conference. They're just moving guys around. They've depended heavily on their offense all year long because the pitching wasn't really up to what we typically remember Arkansas putting out on the field. And then the offense sputtered quite a bit. They just put it all together this weekend. TJ Pompey hit a couple home runs. Ryder Helfrich has been the lone guy in the offense that has really been a good offensive producer. Now he's got some guys backing him up, and Nolan Souza was another guy that stepped up. So they can play. They just outplayed Alabama, who has been gritty all year long, and they met their match this weekend, and that's what happens in the SEC. It's been crazy with sweeps, man. A couple weeks ago, 7 of the 8, and this weekend, 4 sweeps?
4.
It's really weird.
LSU, of course, was one of those victims. The fourth was South Carolina sweeping Missouri. That's just two bad baseball teams, so I don't really need to spend a lot of time talking about that one. But, Luch, the other thing that was a little eye-opening was Florida going on the road and beating Georgia 2 out of 3, because don't look now, but the Gators all of a sudden look like maybe they've found their stride. I doubt you're worried about Georgia. I think this is probably more Florida finding their way up the standings. What do you think about the Gators at this point?
Repeating what I've said twice already, they made an adjustment in their starting rotation. They moved Aiden King up to game 1 starter. Liam Peterson went to game 2. Aiden King had a tremendous game. He got some key hits behind him, and then it allowed Liam Peterson, I think, with that game 1 win, to settle down, and he had the best start of the year. He went 7 innings. Unfortunately, in game 2, they have a major injury. Jackson Barberi in their bullpen, they couldn't close that game down because they didn't have him available. Had they had him, they could have swept. Offense is extremely talented, very similar to LSU, where the roster just is full of talent. But now you're seeing what a good pitching rotation, and when you keep the games close and you have a decent offense, now you see how that can pull you through.
David Dellecci, SEC Network. Lucha, Rally Cap, back?
Yeah, we had our opening night last night. It was outstanding. A lot going on. Just a fun show, man. So happy to be back in studio. Haley McClenny is my partner. No Dari Noka this week. We had Peter Burns came in and pinch hit, and he did a great job. So Rally Cap is back in full swing.
Y'all make sure you catch Rally Cap Sundays there on the SEC Network. Luch will be there, and he's with us on Mondays. We always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Be well. It's After Further Review. We're brought by Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. Closed today. SupperClubBTR.com. That's a website to go get the reservation. Remember, they're closed Sunday, Monday. They'll be back open on Tuesday. And the thing I love to tell you about Supper Club all the time is no matter what you order, it's going to be the best version of that thing no matter what it is that you order. Like, if you love steak, like I do, they have amazing prime steaks. Like, you will go, I say it often, I mean, you can go to Supper Club and have these one-of-a-kind experiences. The Omi beef, the Australian Wagyu, things that you literally can't get anywhere else. And if you're in the mood for a prime steak, you're going to get the best prime filet ribeye that you'll have anywhere else. And you can go pay the same amount as you would at any other fine dining restaurant, but the experience is just unmatched at Supper Club. And maybe tomorrow, got some clients in town, want to close some business after work, pop on into Supper Club. Remember, you can always belly up to the bar, open seating at the bar, 14 bar stools, 7 bar tables. So it's always easy to go in without a reservation. But you want to have that unforgettable dining experience. Get to the website, book your reservation to celebrate whatever it may be. Birthday, anniversary, graduation, promotion, or just because it's the day that ends in Y. Get by Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. 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 All right, y'all, glad to have you hanging out with us here. Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. Knock out a quick break. When we come back, Chris Marler will be here. Handful of teams had their spring games this weekend, so what do you need to know? He's our SEC writer over at LouisianaSports.net. We'll give you the skinny, and we'll announce our winner for our first of our 5 Mockler Bud Light prize packs. Case Bud Light and the Bud Light LSU baseball jerseys, the koozies, some ESPN swag as well. You can check it all out on our socials if you want. It's the purple, gold, and cold giveaway. We're doing one a day every day this week leading up to the home series against Texas A&M. So we'll announce our first winner when we come back. If you want to enter, by the way, you enter once, you're good for any of the 5 days. You want to enter, just text Drink Easy, one word, Drink Easy, to our text line, 225-499-1045, 225-499-1045, 499-1045. Text Drink Easy to 499-1045 to automatically be entered. All right, we'll announce our first winner next. Stay far.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Speaking of winners, Gordon right now has his big sweepstakes going on right now for the laptop giveaway. Every year around high school graduation, Gordon is part of Gordon Gives, the philanthropic arm of the law firm. Every year, Gordon gives away laptops and MacBooks to graduating Louisiana high school seniors that are going to 2- or 4-year college or trade school. So if that's you, or your son or your daughter or niece or nephew or granddaughter, grandson, or a neighbor, whoever it is in your life that you know is graduating, make sure they're aware of this. Go to gordonsgrads.com. So special website, gordonsgrads.com. They have links on all of Gordon's social media as well. It's at Get Gordon on all the social media platforms. Go to gordonsgrads.com. You can see how you can enter to win. The registrations go through the end of this month, through the end of April, so still plenty of time. But get online and enter today at gordonsgrads.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Faber Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FaberChevrolet.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information...
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, well, we picked our winner for the first Bud Light prize pack. However, the person texted without filling out the contact form for their name. The good news is we have their number, so I can text this person back and be like, hey, what's your name? so I can get you your prize. And I'm not going to read this person's name on the air. That'd be really bad. But anyway, so we got our first winner. If I can get this person's name, he or she, it was this. Let me see if I can message this person. I'm going to do this real quick live. Hang on. No, I should do this in the break. I shouldn't bother you all with this. Let's see. Hey. You won. What's your name? All right. That person, if you're still listening, you just got a text from our text line saying you won. What's your name? Tell me your name, and we can get you your prize and all that good stuff. So We'll do that every day this week. So at the top of hour 3, every day this week, we'll announce a Bud Light prize pack winner. Case Bud Light, the aluminum bottles, the Bud Light LSU jersey, baseball jersey, which is really cool, by the way. There's pictures of them online. Some koozies and some ESPN swag and all kind of other stuff. All right, it's after further review. Spring football, a lot of spring games going on. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, covers the SEC for us, locked in and tuned into a lot of this stuff. Good enough to join us. What's up, dude?
What's up, man?
Just doing a radio show.
Yeah, just texting strangers. It sounds good.
Trying to grow our text line so we can, send your silly articles at LouisianaSports.net to people to read. That's what I'm trying to do. So
I love it.
Don't insult my text line. Okay, so there were spring games this weekend. 3 this weekend. Florida, Tennessee, Bama. Were those the 3?
Yeah, what's crazy is there were 10 in the Power 4 overall this weekend, and none of them were on actual TV. This is like, you think about 10 years ago, it was usually like a pretty big spectacle in April. That every weekend you'd have a couple of people just kind of beating their chests and proud. Like Nebraska had 84,000 people to see this 4-8 team in the fall have a spring scrimmage, and like that's just no longer. But you had three SEC games this week. All of them seemed to go pretty well. I'm not sure how many more answers were or how many questions were answered at Tennessee, but it seems like Florida and Alabama had rave reviews.
Let's start with Tennessee. Obviously, they got to replace their quarterback. So who's in the running there?
So you've got 2 freshman quarterbacks. One's a redshirt freshman, George McIntyre. And then you have Faison Brandon, the former 5-star. He's one of the top players in the country from a season ago. And they got the kid from Colorado, Ryan Staub. And what's funny is going into the game, you kind of assumed that you were hoping at least that you had someone pull away or kind of take control of that number 1 spot. Neither one of them seemed to at all. Very, very similar stat lines, seemed to be very, very similar in the game. Nothing crazy happened. Nothing overly good. Nothing overly bad. And again, 2 freshmen in a hypo system. That's not always a bad thing. He has really, really good success with first-year quarterbacks throughout his time as a head coach and OC. But the kid they brought in from Colorado, who everyone thought was destined to be a third stringer, he's the only one that had like a highlight reel or play worth remembering. It was a 73-yard touchdown. So the bigger news that came out of that was, not is it going to be a 2-person quarterback race, or are they going to have Staub push for playing time as well going into the fall?
It sounded like offensively it was a pretty bad day for Josh Heupel's squad. Is there anything that you sort of take away from that spring game?
I mean, I think that having 2 freshmen kind of be given like the reins of this thing, it just seemed like neither one was firmly or ready yet to be that guy. And like maybe that moment, happens in fall camp. Maybe that moment happens in game 2 or 3 of the season, and the light just comes on and they all kind of put it together. If I was putting my money on it, I would have to assume I would probably give the nod to a guy like McIntyre only because, and this is without seeing any of their practices in the spring or anything like that. I would just assume a guy that's already been on campus for a full year, he's been in the system for a year. That is also a system that gets thrown around and kind of perceived incorrectly a lot because you remember the Hendon Hooker offenses that were throwing the ball deep all the time and so potent and electric and stuff like that. It's still an offense that's predicated off the run. So what it really said to me was, I don't know if the run game got going well enough for them to have any sort of success in the downfield passing game. And maybe Jim Knowles, the DC they got from Penn State, former guy from Ohio State, maybe he was worth the $3.2 million they gave him.
Let's go to Florida. There's a new head coach. There'll be a new quarterback, the whole 9 within that mix. It feels like there's a lot of good energy around John Summerall. What were the big takeaways coming out of spring in Gainesville?
So I think the big story there was they might have had the best week they've had for Florida football in I don't know how many years. Maybe you could throw out the argument like November of the one successful year or month for Billy Napier, but that's a program that there's new life. There's a whole resurgence and like kind of a refreshed feeling around it with Summerall. The most important thing he did, and I said this like I think in November or December on the site, and I got a lot of pushback from LSU fans, which was you could make the case that Florida won the hiring offseason, because not just when they got Summerall, because his first thing that he did was go out and get an elite offensive coordinator. Now, I think Charlie Weiss is also elite, but being able to pluck Buster Faulkner away from Tech and then bring him down to Florida, and that's an offensive coordinator who has aspirations of being a head coach, that's a really, really big thing for him to have him as like, you know, on his team going into year one. Like hiring coordinators is probably like one of the biggest pieces of the puzzle for a coach to be successful that we don't talk enough about. And the other thing is, I'm not as concerned. I think they had a great day. I don't know what the final score was. There were some forward passing plays that didn't end up in interceptions, which is different than we saw when DJ Lagway was there. So that's positive. But the other thing is they were able to flip a top 30 recruit on Saturday from South Carolina, and they got a commit from a 5-star offensive guard from Ohio. So like all the positive energy and momentum they have going into the season, it does feel like there's a lot more good vibes down there.
Chris Marler's with us, LouisianaSports.net. I know you were gushing about a throw in a spring game from the Bama quarterback. So tell me why that's going to be awesome.
I tell you what, it's something you can skip the Heisman now for one. Keelan Russell, friend of the show, and I think no, not really. No, I've been saying this for 2 years. It just didn't make a lot of sense to have, like, I think there's going to be a QB battle in a competition. I get that. You brought Austin Mack with you from Washington, and this is only one game. But it's not like Keelan Russell is a good quarterback recruit, an Elite 11 kid, a 5-star. He's the highest ranked recruit in the history of Alabama's program. And that just, you know, maybe it means nothing, but it feels like that level of pedigree coming out of high school and where he came from and being in the system already for a year, it seemed like that was it all kind of came to, you know, to a head on Saturday in a positive way. I think he had 4 touchdowns. They got a freshman receiver, 5-star kid from Mississippi that was really, really good as well. The bigger question is, and it is just a spring game, so every time something good happens, it's a perfect game for people that are neurotic. It's like, well, that was good, but this is bad. So the defense obviously sucks, and the secondary is terrible, but the quarterback should be good. The bigger concern is he going to have to do all that on his own? Because they had the rushing yards stats after the game, and this will shock you, Matt. Bama didn't run the football very well again.
Yeah, I also remember watching a spring game where Steven Rivers was awesome. So drawing conclusions from spring games is silly. I just don't – I just have trouble getting there with a first-time starting quarterback being awesome from jump, no matter where you are. Does it happen? Is there a Jameis 2013 at Florida State? Yeah, but there's a reason why that's the exception, not the rule.
Right.
And yeah, DJ Lagway, 5-star, that was awesome too, who you just made fun of, by the way. So 5 stars, it always works out.
Program changer.
Always works out.
Yeah, but he was the guy that was going to save the program. I remember being in the press box with Hunt during that LSU game, and he leaned over and he goes, "The savior of the program may have just cost this dude his job." And then that was before the 5th interception, and I was like, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen now."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think the bigger thing too is there's 6 teams in the SEC this year that go into this season that don't have a new quarterback that they have to break in, right? There's only 6 in the entire league that have a returning starter at quarterback from their school the year before. And it feels like those teams probably do have a little bit of a leg up because in this day and age where there's so much uncertainty and change in the offseason, at the most important position, you at least have some sort of continuity.
Yeah, because the national championship game this year was just between 2 teams with first-year starter transfer quarterbacks. So that's a good argument.
Will never happen again, ever.
Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He's got some, I don't know what his Twitter is now because he's gotten like 4 of them taken away. So what is this one now that you're on? Vern
_Funquist.
Oh, Vern _Funquist. We've ditched Dumbquist, and now we're back to Funquist?
I think you're going to make me go back to Dumbquist after today, but yeah.
Why?
Fair.
Why would I do that?
I'm not getting into it on the air. Just, you know.
Yes, that's right. Because of the meeting we had earlier. I wasn't even thinking about that. No, I wouldn't make you change your Twitter. You do what you want with your Twitter. And if it gets taken away, well, that's on you. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. Go read his stuff there. Follow him on Twitter and all that stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
All right, man. We'll see you. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO. Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. Man, I love telling you about Arco. Amazing business, great people. You ever have the opportunity, if you're a business owner, you have a commercial property, industrial facility, and you hear me talk about ARCO, it's industrial generator power, right? We all know about home standby generators, right? You get a home standby generator. Well, this isn't that. ARCO is a standby generator for your business. So same concept, just for your commercial or your industrial facility. Bad weather comes, power goes out. What does that mean for your business? Well, ARCO makes sure that your business stays online. Grocery stores, gas stations, banks, hospitals, schools, any type of industrial facility, municipality, radio stations, broadcast facilities. You need standby generator power. You need ARCO power systems. They're just awesome. And you realize you go right there on Airline Highway by I-12, this gigantic company that services the entire region. Literally, when storms come, the National Guard will come in and they'll like Black Hawk helicopter the ARCO guys to different sites to get power back on. It's amazing the service they provide. But even not in disasters, when power goes out, you got to be online. ARCO is there. ARCCO, ARCO.com, ARCO.com, ARCO.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. So we just talked to Marler about 3 of the spring games from this weekend, and yes, everyone is just gushing over the kid from Alabama. It's the counter argument to what happened at LSU this weekend, where the quarterback play was very bad, the defense dominated. I just don't know that you draw wide-ranging conclusions from a spring practice or a spring game. But I do want to give you some thoughts, some deeper thoughts that I have about the LSU quarterback situation coming out of this weekend, and maybe a thought on what to watch over the next 7 or 6 practices for the remainder of spring. We'll do that as we continue. We're glad you're here. It's a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
After further review,
Rev is now Rev Fiber. RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com. Rev, R-E-V, Fiber.com. That's because the reason I switched to Rev is recently Rev came and laid fiber in our neighborhood. And so we immediately switched. I mean, think about it. We've all been there before, right? Storm comes, tree falls on a power line, knocks your cable, you're in and out, you're out for days, weeks, whatever. How annoying is that? Terribly annoying. You know who doesn't have to ever worry about that? Me. Because with Rev, the fiber is buried under the ground. So you don't have to worry about the storm coming and knocking power lines down or anything like that. And by the way, the Rev folks were awesome throughout that entire process. Not only how quickly they were able to lay fiber in our neighborhood, but switching to Rev, their staff, just awesome to work with. So RevFiber.com. Check it out. Home or business, RevFiber.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Championships are won with preparation, and so are great roofs.
The Tigers don't cut corners on the floor. Parrish Construction and Roofing won't cut corners on your home either.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishGroup.com. Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, rolling along here. Jimmy will be here in about a dozen minutes from right now for Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Remember, Otter Locks, you can always get it for free at louisianasports.net. Tigers will be back on the practice field on Tuesday as they resume spring football. And Lane Kiffin has opened up practice for the remainder of spring. We kind of joked over the weekend that maybe he's opening up spring now so that we, the media, can go see and maybe help pump the brakes on the expectations. It's a joke. But I think Lane has a couple of times so far during his media availability pointed out the need for tempered expectations. He's been quick to point out, I'm not telling our fans years, but it's just you're remaking an offense and it's going to take time. And last week he said if we were playing a game right now, we'd be a defensive team, but he was quick to say, but we're not playing a game right now. I think my buddy Jake Crane on Twitter over the weekend had maybe the best tweet about reaction to the scrimmage from Saturday out at LSU, where his point was just the thing you never worry about ever is a Lane Kiffin offense. And I think that's right, because everywhere that Lane Kiffin has been, offense is followed, and it has been seamless. And I am just never going to overreact to one spring practice. So I think no matter what, Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss, their offense is going to be really good. They're going to move the ball, and they're going to score points, and it's going to be good. Like, I don't think LSU is going to be 124th in the country in rushing offense again like they were this past year. I think they're going to be better than that, because everywhere he's been, even with lesser talent, he's been able to do more offensively than that. So I think that's true. They're going to be better on offense in 2026 than they were in 2025, just by virtue of the fact that Kiffin and Weiss are there leading the offense. But being better on offense isn't the goal. Getting to the playoff and winning a championship is the goal. And I do believe that for LSU to achieve that goal, that Sam Leavitt is going to have to be healthy and is going to have to live up to the potential that he brings from a guy that started his career at Michigan State, went to Arizona State, and got the Sun Devils into the playoff. And I'll remind you, 2 years ago at Arizona State, they were picked preseason. They were picked dead last in the Big 12. Arizona State was. And they won the league, went to the playoff, and darn near upset Texas. So, it's in there for Leavitt. There's a reason he was the number one quarterback in the portal, and the reason LSU pursued him and paid him all the money that they did. And there's evidence to suggest that it can work with transfer quarterbacks immediately. Just talked about it. Fernando Mendoza was in his first year at Indiana. Won the Heisman, won the Natty. In the national championship game, they played against Miami, who had Carson Beck in his first season at Miami. Ole Miss made the semifinal. Trinidad Chambliss from Division II in his first year at Ole Miss. Got him there. And there's so many examples. You can just go down the list, right? So it's probably obvious to say it. Like Levitt, yes, Sam Levitt has to be really good for LSU to make the playoff and win a championship this year. But I also think, based on what we saw on Saturday, I think those two guys, meaning Landon Clark and Husan Longstreet, have a very exciting and interesting skill set. And they're young guys who have the opportunity to grow. I also am not sure that I'm convinced that those are the types of guys right now that would be ready. And again, it's 9 practices in the spring, to where I go, oh man, I saw the dynamic skill set that makes you think that's a guy that can lead you to a championship or lead you to and through a playoff. It's not to say that'll never happen. It's not to say that can't develop. I mean, Husan Longstreet was a 5-star. There's a reason that you're an Elite 11 guy. You have the skill set. And clearly, this coaching staff saw something in Landon Clark from Elon to say, we know what to do with that. I love that component of it. But again, just scoring points and gobbling up yards and winning some games isn't the goal. The goal is get to the playoff and win when you're there. And I think for this team to do it, it's got to be, stating the obvious, but it's got to be Sam Levitt. He's got to be what you brought him here to be. So getting him healthy and ready to run this offense from jump, because you go Clemson, Louisiana Tech, at Ole Miss. I mean, it's your first 3 games. You stumble out the gate in November, you could leave yourself no margin for error the rest of the way. So they got to be ready to roll from jump, and they got a long way to go offensively to feel like that. Again, like Kiffin said, the good news is they're not playing a game right now. They're not playing a game for 8 months. So you got a long way to go to get guys healthy and ready and churning in this offense. But they got work to do. I'm excited to get back out there tomorrow. And they're not going to be scrimmaging like we saw in Tiger Stadium on Saturday, but they're going to do team period. So we're going to get to see some 11-on-11 work, and maybe it'll be situational work. And I'm interested to see what that looks like and how they divvy up the reps. Because to this point in spring, all we've gotten to see is that one sort of quick team period and then individual work. So we were trying to extrapolate certain things from just watching, one quick team period, and now we get a bigger sample size, so we could tell you more of what we see. So be back out there tomorrow as LSU on Tuesday. Will be practicing Tuesday morning. As soon as practice is over, and then Lane Kiffin meets with reporters, we'll get you a practice report at LouisianaSports.net. I'll give you practice reports over at Locked on LSU as well. Would appreciate a sub on either your podcast app or YouTube, Locked on LSU. Appreciate that. Of course, we'll be talking about it here on AFR as well. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. I always love telling you about Evermore. Have my Evermore with me every single day. I buy the 4-packs of 64-ounce bottles. Fine. They got 32-ounce and 20-ounce bottles as well. 6-pack, 12-pack. Go find what's best for you at your favorite local retailer. They got it at Rouse's. They got it at so many great local retailers. You want to find the retailer near you, just go to evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com. You hit the little menu tab. It says, find a store. Type in your zip code, and then, boom, it's right there. It'll tell you the nearest store, or the store nearest you that has Evermore, or you can buy it online. There's a tab, a little button on the top right that says buy now. Just click that button and buy your Evermore. So you can be like me and millions of other people that drink natural artesian water, better source, natural source, healthier alternative. It's Evermore. EVAMOR, evamore.com. All right, been a really good show. If you missed it, we did spend the first 2 segments of the show giving you my full scrimmage recap and notes from Saturday. I did offense, then defense, special teams. So we took 2 segments to go through all that. We did talk about the LSU baseball team being swept at Ole Miss and sort of what's ahead for the Tigers here in the second half of conference play. I know a lot of people are throwing dirt on them and burying the season. We've seen it too much. I believe this team has fatal flaws that are going to cost them mid-season. I don't think they're going to make a run in Omaha. I don't believe that's in the cards. I do believe this team can absolutely still make a regional. That's not the goal here, but I want them to play for as long as they can. And you're halfway through conference play. You're at this point 3 games better than you were 2 years ago when you were 3-12 at the halfway point, and you made regionals. So it is very doable for this team to make it to a regional. even if it's on the road and play into June. But Jay Johnson and his squad have work to do, and they need to get Cooper Moore back healthy. So hopefully we'll get an update from Jay Johnson on Moore's status. David Dellecci was here earlier this hour. We talked to Chris Marler about some of the spring games that happened this weekend. They are really, I'll tell you this much. Seeing the excitement out of Tuscaloosa. So if you missed it, there was this, I don't even know what account it was. Somebody posted a video of Keelan Russell throwing a seam route. And Marler tweeted that that he's old enough to remember when people thought that Bama was just signing a 3-star SMU commit. So he's basically taking a shot at me. And I haven't replied, but I have earmarked and bookmarked that tweet because I am going to love when they inevitably lose 4 games again, throwing that in their face and laughing at them because they drew wide-ranging conclusions from one throw in a spring game, which is just the stupidest thing you could possibly do in football. Already getting some Bama is burning stuff planned for next year. Really looking forward to that again. It's going to be the biggest disappointment when they inevitably fire Kalen DeBose after he loses 4 or 5 games again this year, is that when they fire him, do I have to stop doing Bama is burning? That's going to be the really sad day for me. Do I lose one of the greatest bits we've ever had in the show? Time will tell. All right, it's after further review. Final break. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks next.
AFR.
This weekend for so many people was the debut of pool season. It was the inaugural swim of pool season for a lot of folks. Duplessis Pools. If you want to be in that number where when the sweltering heat comes, the triple-digit temps, and you just jump outside and hop in your pool, grab you an ice-cold beverage and cool off, enjoy your outdoor space instead of just sweating, put in a pool. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. They've got pools, they've got outdoor kitchens, they got so many options. Even do your putting green out there. So many options to make your backyard space a showplace. Start at DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. They have 11 different pool designs where you can go pick all your finishes. You can even finance it, pay for it online right now. DuplessisBuilders.net. Check them out right now online. DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know hard work starts with the right equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025E tractor with loader for just $297 a month, with 0% financing for 72 months. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, this is the tractor built to get it done. Don't wait. This offer ends April 30th, 2026. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's up, Matthew? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. How'd your Masters bets fare?
Not so great.
Sorry.
Not so great.
Sorry to hear that.
So anyway, I did a little bit of recovery on Rory in game from day one, but no, not the best. Not the best. So, and it was a lot of, they just don't bet repeat champion. Oberga had a lot of action. Justin Rose had a lot of action. And he certainly had a chance to win it. But Scheffler not too much, and Rory not too much. I thought it was funny that you can play the markets without Scheffler because he's been so dominant. And then after 2 rounds, it was markets without Rory because everybody else looked like it was a race for second. And who wins the market without Rory is Scheffler.
Yeah.
So there you go. So anyway, it was a lot. It was way more exciting on Saturday when we thought it was over going into that one. But a lot of guys in place. We thought it was a lot of guys lost it more than Rory won it. So still good stuff. Anyway, not the late dramatics. Paul Skeens has given up his second home run of the year. This is to C.J. Abrams, 2-out solo home run in the first. We had them and the Dodgers in a money line parlay. So we get a better price now. Mowed down the first 2 guys, but the second guy got him. They took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. Pirates tied for first place right now, giving him way more run support this year with that improved lineup. Going with Boston and Garrett Crochet at the on the road here. Now, we're laying 1.5 runs because the price is too high. Against Minnesota, struggling pitcher in Bradley Ober this year. So we got the Boston Red Sox minus 1.5 plus 109. And then the A's tonight, money line, Severino against Evaldi. Severino been so-so this year. Evaldi, way below so-so to this point. Had been good, but A's coming off a sweep of the Mets in Citi Field. We'll go with the A's plus 109.
All right, so the Red Sox on the money line, the A's on the money line.
Red Sox run
line. A's on the money line and Dodgers Pirates money line parlay. Again, you're actually getting a better number on that right now with the Pirates early deficit. All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City.
All right, man. Thanks. Good luck. Have a great show tomorrow.
All right, good luck.
Thanks, man. That's Jimmy Ott. It's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. You can book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. No, keep that going. Golf.breck.org. You can through to the end of the show. Little vibe to get us home there, Jordan. Yeah. You all right?
Yeah, no, we good.
You can talk. It's okay. The audience can't see you nod your head.
Right. I forgot it's a radio show. They hear my voice. They cannot see me shaking my head at you.
There it is, man. Did good today, Jordan.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate you for hanging out in here. I think Muse is back tomorrow.
You better be.
Well, you don't like coming in?
Nah, man. Moose need to come up. Look, Moose was out Friday and Monday. Come on, Moose. Get back to work. Where you at? I
saw Musso post a photo on on social of his crawfish pot. He's boiling crawfish.
Of course he is.
And he's got a paddle. I need to ask him about this tomorrow.
Okay.
His paddle says it's like a metal crawfish paddle with musso engraved in it.
Real.
Yeah.
I didn't know Musso was getting down like that.
Me either.
Okay.
But I'm kind of like, all right, big guy. If that's how you roll,
yeah,
where you got your own paddle with your name on it, then I think what we need to do is we need to have Station Crawfish Boil.
Thank
and
you.
we let Muse do the honors.
Thank you.
I'll pay for everybody. But Muse has to boil them.
He does. He needs to boil it, and not only that, we need to have like a taste test where we're going to be very authentic. Like, hey, Moose, you know, my nose is not dripping. Okay, need a little bit more spice.
But you think I'm going to lie? You think I'm going to lie?
You're definitely not going to lie to Moose. Definitely not. No.
You think I'm going to bite my tongue?
Not even close. Honestly,
no, Muse, they're great. Really, great
not
job.
Close. Nah.
Paul, are you in for the Musso crawfish boil?
Let's do it.
All right. We have a company crawfish boil on Thursday.
I'll be there.
Yeah, they do the company crawfish. I've done this for years, I guarantee. They do the company crawfish boil during AFR. Oh. So I never get to go to, like 16 years, and never get to go to the crawfish bowl because they do it during my show. And they do it right in the parking lot of this building.
What they do?
So it's almost like they do it just to mock me. Do you have the outro music there? You should have played that already. Yep. There you go. Now take down the other one. Finish strong. There it is. All right, we're done. Hit the button.
AFR.
All right, we get on down the road. Remind you about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You say that? Thank you, Joy. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Hey, if you're thinking of popping the question, tell you every day, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They've been helping Louisianians get engaged for 4 decades. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Over at Lee Michaels, they specialize in the Lee Michaels experience. It's not just a throwaway line. It's actually a genuinely real thing when you walk in. They want you to feel comfortable knowing people don't walk into a jewelry store every day. They never want you to feel like you're pressured to buy. You want to walk in and try on 100 different rings, look at everything, and not buy something today? Okay. And no matter your budget, there's always something for you. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. It's LMFJ.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.